Picture the largest hot desert on Earth. What comes to mind? Probably endless sand, a blazing sun. But what about the skeleton of a giant whale? It sounds impossible, right? Well, today, we're diving into one of our planet's most incredible secrets, the Sahara's forgotten ocean. Okay, let's just jump right into this because, wow, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction. The Sahara is one of the driest, toughest places you can imagine. And yet, somehow, scientists have found massive marine animals right in the middle of it all. So this is the big question, isn't it? How on earth does a 65-foot-long whale, a creature that lives its whole life in the ocean, end up stranded hundreds of miles from the nearest coastline, buried under sand? It just doesn't make sense. Now, this whole mystery, it actually centers on a real place. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and its name is Wadi El Hatan. That literally translates to Whale Valley. And yeah, it's called that for a very, very good reason. The place is just littered with these perfectly preserved fossilized skeletons of prehistoric whales. To get to the bottom of the whales, we actually have to zoom out a bit and understand the desert itself. You see, the Sahara that we all picture, this giant sea of sand, is actually, in the grand scheme of things, pretty new. We need to look at its greener past. Just look at this contrast. On one side, you've got the Sahara we all know. But on the other, it's a completely different world. We're talking a lush, green landscape full of life, with rivers flowing through it and huge lakes. This wasn't a desert at all. It was more like a paradise. And this isn't some fantasy. Scientists have a name for this whole phenomenon, the Green Sahara. It's a period that happens when the Earth's orbit shifts just a tiny bit, which in turn shifts the monsoons northward. And that brings a ton of rain to North Africa, completely transforming the entire ecosystem. Now, here's where it gets really mind-bending. This whole transformation, it wasn't a one-time thing. This switch from desert to savannah and then back again, well, it's a constant rhythmic cycle that's been going on for millions of years. This timeline really shows you the pattern, right? The Sahara has been locked in this kind of epic dance for ages, constantly changing its identity from this barren wasteland to a lush green savanna, over and over and over again. The desert we see today, it's really just one phase in a much, much longer cycle. Get this, 230 times. Let that number sink in. That's how many times this enormous part of our planet has completely flipped its identity, swinging from one extreme to the other. It's just an incredible reminder of how dynamic and alive our planet really is. And this whole back and forth, these 230 transformations, it's all been happening over the last 8 million years. I know that sounds like forever to us, but really, it's just one chapter in the Sahara's incredibly long story. We're talking about deep geological time here. It's a rhythm of change that's baked into the very fabric of this place. Okay, so now we have our two big clues, right? We've got giant whale fossils in the middle of a desert, and we've got a desert that we now know keeps turning into a wet, green savanna. So it's time to put these two pieces together and finally solve this thing. All right, here's how it all connects. First, you have to go back way, way further in time, even before these Green Sahara cycles started. A huge ancient ocean, called the Tethys Sea, covered this whole area. Second, millions of years ago, enormous whales swam and lived and died in that sea. Third, as the continents shifted, that ocean slowly disappeared, leaving their skeletons on what was now the seafloor. And finally, and this is key, those more recent climate cycles buried the bones in sand, and then the rain and wind exposed them, turning this ancient seabed into the fossil gold mine we see today. Susie, the whales are a window into the Sahara's deep oceanic past, while the Green Sahara cycles are a window into its more recent lush past. They're two totally different stories from different eras, but they both point to the exact same truth. The Sahara we think we know is just a temporary phase. It has an incredibly rich and watery history. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Honestly, it's a pretty profound lesson about the very nature of our world. It's that nothing, absolutely nothing, is permanent. Our planet is in a constant state of change. I love this quote because it just says it all, doesn't it? That desert, that mountain range you see, that coastline you walk along, they all feel so permanent and solid to us in our lifetimes. But on a geological scale, they're all just a single fleeting moment in an epic story of transformation. And look, this isn't just a cool piece of trivia. It really matters. It reminds us that our planet's climate is capable of huge, dramatic shifts. It shows us that even the most barren-looking places can hold the potential for life. And it teaches us that the ground beneath our feet holds incredible stories, clues to entire lost worlds if we just know how to look for them. And that kind of leaves us with one last fascinating thought. If the Sahara Desert can hide ancient oceans and forgotten rainforests, what incredible secrets are hidden in the landscapes that we see every day? What stories are they just waiting to tell us not only about the past, but about our planet's future?